All right. So again, everyone, thanks for being here. My name is Tony Procopio. I'm one of the founding advisors here at Think Plus, along with my business partners, Jim, Brendan, and Ed Kenny. We're going to share with you some time-proven techniques for handling objections. I was just telling everybody a second ago that, I didn't kind of create any of this or make this up myself. This is all information that has been available and really found over the years in network marketing. And I'm kind of like I stole this. I'm the best thief in the world at stealing good stuff and sharing it with people. So lots of plagiarism going on here, which is what you want in network marketing. It's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. So we're going to share some of this with you. Maybe some of you have had issues or had things come up where you've had to handle questions or objections. Questions, objections, they can kind of be the same thing, but maybe you've gotten them from customers who are inquiring about things. Maybe they've seen things or looked at things on the internet, or they've had experiences in the past. Maybe you're getting it from potential advisors who have had experience in the past or are doing the same thing. They're Googling, researching. I mean, that's the society we live in. So one thing I will say up front is the best way to handle objections is to handle them before they happen. Okay, so whenever, I'm going to tell you this right now, right out of the gate, one of the first things that I do with people when I'm talking to them, whether it's a customer or whether it's an advisor, doesn't matter. If I'm approaching them either way, I always let people know what they're going to find on the internet before they find it. It is the best way to handle an objection is to handle it up front. That way they're not coming back to you saying, hey, you told me about this great company or this great opportunity, but I went and looked up something up on the internet and you didn't tell me. See, that's when you get into the situation. That's the situation you don't want to be. You don't want to be the one who didn't tell the person, like they found it on their own. So that's why whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, look, we're a brand new company. We just launched in February of this year. And we have an award-winning team, and that's why this slide is here. And that's what we talk about at the beginning and why we put Trustpilot front and center on all of our presentations. So what I like to tell people is when you go out and research something on the internet, you're going to find information about the old Think Energy that existed before the new Think Energy. This is a brand new company that was acquired. It used to be based in Texas. Now it has brand new owners, brand new services that they're offering, and it's now based out of Connecticut. The old Think Energy is gone, the new Think Energy is in. And you'll see that start to reflect in the Better Business Bureau as well, because the Better Business Bureau is right now working with the new Think Energy, us, to create that new profile and get rid of the old. And so that will happen over time. But I let people know it's going to happen over time. But Trustpilot is the one that shows the old Think Energy and the new Think Energy. And we have a 3-minute video that anybody can see. I give this 3-minute video. I would almost like make this like almost like it's your signature on the bottom of your text or on the bottom of your email. Like you should have that there in case, or not, I wouldn't really do that, but almost like that. But I always make sure it's in there after I talk to someone. I let them know. If you have any questions about reviews that you're seeing on the internet, go check out this 3-minute video. And so that's why we put that there. So handling the objection up front is just very important to this whole process until we clean up our entire reputational profile online in all corners of the internet. It's going to take some time, taking a little longer than we thought, but it is happening. All right, so that's the first thing, is to let you know about that. This is what I also like to keep in mind. This is something that, I learned from Les Brown. Les Brown says, we don't want to satisfy our customers. We want to amaze our customers. And that's what we have the ability to do here. We are doing something differently. We're doing things differently than anyone else has ever done in the retail electricity third-party supply space and in the community solar space. We are unique in both of these markets. You need to understand that. We are definitely unique. We have the ability to amaze our customers because we are focused on long-term fixed rates. Is anyone else focused on only that in the retail electricity space? Probably not. Are they focused on 100% clean energy? Probably not. I don't even have that on the slide. I should have that there. Do they have a free energy club? Some places do. But do they have a free energy club that allows you to get a benefit just for referring 3 customers, or do you have to refer dozens of customers? That's where we are. Do they have community solar? Are there any other network marketing companies, relationship marketing companies that have community solar? Not the way we do. And do they have a proprietary app called Proton? No, because it's proprietary. We're the only ones that have it, a smart meter app. Are they going to be doing natural gas? You know, when you add all these things up, who knows if we'll even have a free gas program? Maybe we will. But when you add all these things up, we are unique in the marketplace. And the reason for that, one of the reasons why, is because of the philosophy that we do want to amaze these customers. Our objective is to surpass what the customers expect, to go beyond the expectation of the customers. And that's where we're focused long term. So customer objections, you know, are there customer objections? Sure, they might come up. And if they do, you kind of just have to let them know up front. If you let them know up front the reviews that they see on the internet before they see them, most of your objections will disappear. But if you didn't, or if they come up with another objection, you know, hey, look, as I mentioned, you might have to just, when you're asking someone to do you a favor and become your customer, try out your service, long-term fixed affordable rates that are not going to come back to bite you, all the different benefits. And you're asking them to do you a favor because it's important to you. Sometimes they'll come up with an objection. I simply like to restate things, you know, and say, hey, look, as I mentioned, just restate your whole premise. As I mentioned, not going to cost you anything, not going to inconvenience you, and there are no penalties. You can cancel anytime. You're free to come and go as you please. There's no risk to you whatsoever. So will you try it out? Many times, that statement, that restating what your ask was, what you were asking them to do for you, a favor, try out the service. Many times, if you just restate those simple things, not going to cost you anything, won't inconvenience you, no penalties whatsoever. You can cancel anytime, no risk to you. And it's going to be important to me because, hey, I need to pay for my kid's college fund, as I told you, you know, or whatever your reason why is. When you restate that and you do it in a nice, friendly, calm, relaxed manner, don't get combative. You know, you don't want to be the kind of person that's like, look, just like I told you, it's not going to cost you a dime, you dummy. You know, it's not going to inconvenience you at all. What's wrong with you? Don't do that. That's combative, right? You don't want to do that. So be nice about it. Be kind. Be friendly. You know, and sometimes you just say, look, if you don't like it, you can go right back to what you already have. You know, but once you experience our service, you know, I highly doubt that you'll want to leave. These are reassuring ways that you can calmly restate your objective with your customer, what you're asking them to do, which is really nothing. You're asking them, hey, would you like me to get you a better deal at no cost? No, I don't want that. I'd rather pay more somewhere else. I'd rather have a roller coaster rate than have a nice flat rate with you. I mean, think about what we're asking. This is not difficult. And that's what you have to have. You have to have that mentality. You've got something great to offer people. So the better you think it is, the more likely they are in your mind. You're not kind of bragging to them or whatever, but the better you think it is in your mind that you have certainty about what you're doing, the more likely they are to take you up on your offer. So how about electricity and solar objectives, objections that might come up, you know, with customers? That you have to be confident and prepared. We talked about that. Use the language from the flyers. There's a lot of great language that you can pick up from our flyers that are in the back office. Again, use the tools that we have. The customer enrollment website, your regular website, has tremendous information. Get some lines from the 2-minute video, the 1.5-minute video, brand new video that's out there. Get some lines and some bullet points from the websites. Use the tools that we already have in place. These are rock solid. Use the credibility of Trustpilot and tell the story of the new Think Energy versus the old. Again, the new BBB rating that's coming out, you'll be able to use that. We have the credibility of press releases, state programs with community solar. We have parent companies. You can talk about our parent companies. Energy Well is the parent company of Think Energy. That's the company that got the $100 million investment from Oak Tree Capital, which is our grandparent company. Oak Tree Capital, the parent company to Oak Tree Capital, is Brookfield. That's our grandparent company. That's a $100 billion company. Use that credibility. Use the technology that we have. Let them know about the technology that's out there and the fact that we have proprietary technology and leadership at the company. we're experiencing this. This is not, no one's ever assembled a team like this in the energy sector before with this much experience. It just has not happened in the relationship marketing energy sector. It never happened before. Mike Falquist has entered into this business with more experience than anyone that's ever entered the relationship marketing, network marketing, energy business. No one has ever entered the business with as much experience in energy as him, and no one's ever been so well funded as he has. We have that. Use that leadership and reassure them that you're not going to ask them to participate in anything that would hurt them. This is a great thing to say to people. I would never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do, that I wouldn't ask my mother to do, that I wouldn't ask my father to do, my best friend, my neighbor. I'm not going to ask you to participate in anything that could come back to hurt you. That's a great thing to say to people to reassure them. And if you can't reassure people like this, bring in your business partner. They're going to do the same thing. I mean, you get anybody on the line that understands this business at all. They've been doing this for a little while. They're going to be able to say these things to your customers or to your potential business partners. So what I will tell you now is let's shift to kind of the objections that can come from potential advisors. All right, potential objections from advisors. These usually fit into two categories. I learned this several years ago from Eric Worre, and he's a great teacher on this philosophy. He talks about in his GoPro Network Marketing GoPro series. Read the book. You should all read the GoPro Network Marketing book. Everybody should have that and read it. He talks about the reason that objections come up from potential advisors is because they either have a limiting belief in the business, like in network marketing or in the business model. They have a limiting belief in the business. There's something that's hampering them from having full belief in the business, and that's fine. You want people to be like, you want everybody to, hey, I showed you the 9-minute video. You should be ready to go right out of the gate. Are you kidding me? I wasn't. I wanted to get involved with Mike Falquist and in the energy sector, absolutely. But I had a lot of questions before I was ready to go right out of the gate. It's like, I want to find out more. Give me the information, but I don't believe in this until I can actually get my questions answered. So that's normal. And the second thing is, and this is probably even more prevalent, most people, are not ready. Most people don't believe in themselves enough. A lot of people don't believe in themselves enough. They just don't have the confidence in themselves to go out and do something. And sometimes they need a pat on the back. They need, encouragement from you. So what I will tell you is that sometimes some people, they mistake a limiting belief in somebody's in themselves or a limiting belief in the business. They sometimes think that when someone's lazy or ignorant or the timing isn't just not right for them, they try to handle those objections. Okay? In my experience, if someone is just genuinely lazy or totally ignorant, you can try to turn them around, and that's fine, and do what you can. But sometimes you just have to move on. And if the timing just isn't there, you have to get back to them later because that's what they're asking for. So maybe a note on if you find somebody that's just totally lazy or a total knucklehead or they're just ignorant and they're just negative and you can't change that, ask them to be your customer, move on. And just go next, just in your mind, say next. When people are just ignorant or lazy or combative or the timing isn't right, I just say to them, hey, I appreciate you taking a look. Would it be okay if I circled back with you in, say, 3 to 6 months to see if anything changes on your side? Kind of like in my mind, I say, let me check back with you in 3 to 6 months to see if you're no longer lazy. Let me check back with you in 3 to 6 months to see if you're no longer a knucklehead or ignorant. Okay? Let me check back in 3 to 6 months to see if you're not a jerk anymore. Now, I'm not saying that to them face to face. I'm not verbally saying that, but that's what I'm saying in my mind. Let me see if you're no longer a jerk in 3 to 6 months like you were just now. Because sometimes people are just, you catch them at the wrong time in their life. So circle back with people and be willing to move on. Be willing to take it away from people. Because when you take something away from people, they're like kids with a candy jar, right? Or a cookie jar. Like, don't go in the cookie. You're not allowed to have a cookie. Oh, but now I want a cookie. See, that's how it works. And so that is a great way. Eric Worre talks about those two limiting beliefs. It's very powerful when you keep that in mind. Now, there's another way, and this is just old school. This is old school people skills. This is from like how to have power and influence in dealing with people. This is from like how to have friends and how to have friends and influence people. This is like all the different books on people skills. Feel, felt, found. This is going to sound old school to a lot of people, but let me tell you what, there are a lot of ways to, you don't have to say these exact words, but this is the mentality. Feel, felt, found. All right. So it works like this. When someone says to you, I'd really want to get started in that, but I saw some negative reviews online. I don't think I can do this because, people are just, I can't really approach people like this because of what they're going to see on the internet. Maybe that's what they're going to say. You say, hey, look, I know how you feel. I know how you feel about it because I felt the same exact way. I saw those things on the internet. But here's what I found. I found through watching this 3-minute video that this is actually not the company that you're looking at with the old reviews, that sometimes people mistake the new Think Energy for the old Think Energy. Let me share some press releases with you that talk about the progression of where this came from, why we acquired Think Energy, and why it's an all new company and that the old does not apply to us. See, that's feel, felt, found. Now, you don't have to say it like that over and over again like a robot, like I know how you feel. You could say, hey, I saw the same thing. I get it. Some people just say, I get it. That's the same way as saying, I know how you feel. I get it. There's a lot of ways. You don't have to be a robot with this. Okay. But the methodology may change, the wording may change, but the principles never change. Principles never change. You know how you feel? I felt the same way. Here's what I found. Now, sometimes you might need to go beyond that first objection. Because sometimes people will throw out this like real easy one. They'll throw you like this big beach ball pitch that you can hit with a bat like no problem. And that's the I feel, felt, found. Other times it could be trying to uncover the real objection. Now, the real objection, that is something that you can just as you're working, as you're going through this process, you can uncover additional objections because most of the time, the first one is not the actual real objection. I'm going to say that again. Most of the time, the first objection that they give you is not the actual real objection. You have to work with people skills and find out and kind of poke and prod, so to speak. You have to find out a little bit more. And the way you do that is by being curious. You have to be genuinely curious. The more curious you are, the more you will uncover the real objection, the more successful you will be. You have to ask questions. If you're curious, what do? You ask questions. And then, of course, you have to listen. I know some people that are really good. They're really curious and they're really great at asking questions, but they don't listen to the questions. They just ask the questions just to say, and then they're just thinking it's all about them. They don't even actually take the time to care about what the person is saying and listen to what they're telling you. The words that the person gives you are the key to unlocking their objection and getting them into the business. It's what they say to you. That's what's valuable. You have to listen. And here's how, when you're uncovering that real objection, if you're listening, you can do what I'm going to show you right now. If you're not listening to them and you're just firing questions away and not listening, you're not doing any justice to them. You're not respecting them. You're not treating them the right way. And you can't do what I'm going to tell you now. But if you listen to people, you can do this. And it's kind of like a little tennis match. You're going to volley back and forth with the person. Real simple, like no big deal. Like you're a friend of mine years ago, my friend Billy told me, it's kind of like you're just playing tennis easy back and forth. It's almost like so calm that you're just sipping on an iced tea while you're volleying the ball back. Like that kind of calmness. They don't jump on people, but it's like you're volleying and then they volley back to you. And it's back and forth a little bit. And that's great. You want it to be that way. So here's the way you can uncover the real objection. The first thing is repeat the objection back to the person. See, they gave you the objection. You listened. So you can say, so what I hear you saying is that. What I hear you saying is, and then repeat the objection. That's all you have to do. So what I hear you saying is that you joined the business, but you have some questions because of some things you saw on the internet. Is that right? And they'll say, yeah. And then you'll say, well, why do you say that? Well, because when I looked, it said this and this and this and this, about it. Well, okay, great. So when you ask them, why do you say that? You let them repeat back to you and tell you a little bit more about why they said that. You see how interesting that can be to you. So the third thing you say is, well, in addition to that, is there anything else that would stop you from joining our team as an advisor today? Is there anything else? This is the key question. They now have to think, because you asked them a question, and they have to think about all the other things. And it maybe the second thing is the one that they tell you, well, I don't know if I have the money to get involved right now. It's $129. I don't know if I have that. Great. When they say that, we'll say, well, why do you say that? You're just curious, right? So what I hear you saying is, you don't have the money. And they'll say yes. And you say, well, why do you say that? Well, because, I need to get paid at the end of the week. I can't start right now, whatever it is, so maybe that's what it is. Or they could say, and then when they do that, you say, well, in addition to that, is there anything else? So other than the internet negativity thing that you saw and the reviews and the money, is there anything else that would stop you from joining our team as an advisor today? Well, I have to check with my spouse. Okay. See, now you're actually at the real objection, because they're now back to a limiting belief in themselves, because they have to go run something by their spouse to get approval, because they don't want to catch flack for doing something without approval. That's probably the real objection. That's probably what it is. Usually when you get to the third one, it's the second one could be, but the third one definitely. I've rarely seen when people have 4 objections. They can't remember that many things. Plain and simple. They're just not that, that doesn't happen usually. So now you're at the real objection. Okay. So you say, hey, listen, I'm not sure if we can handle all those objections, but if we could, you'd be ready to get started today. Is that right? That's what you say to people. And they'll say, great. So now you can do what you want. You can either answer those objections if you have the ability to do that, or you get them on a 3-way call. This is a great time to do a 3-way call, or to bring them up to your business partner if you're at a local meeting, whatever it is. Now you've got the real reasons. Imagine being able to get onto a 3-way call with someone and say, hey, this is my friend Jim, who just took a look at the business. Jim, meet Mike. Mike is the owner of the company. He's this, your business partner, whatever. And you edify both of them back to each other. And you say, hey, Mike, I was talking with Jim, and he said that he saw some things on the internet that didn't excite him, some reviews. He said he may not have enough money to join. Maybe you don't want to say that. That's up to you. But there might be a monetary thing potentially. And he says, maybe he has to check with his spouse. Wouldn't that be great information to share with the person you're doing the 3-way call with, so that they can handle the 3-way call for you perfectly? You just served it up tennis style to them by volleying back and forth to uncover the real objection. Now, the money objection, here's a great one. I learned this from several people. I learned this in 3 different network marketing companies over the past 3 decades. Now I'm aging myself, but here it is. If money is the only thing getting in your way, we don't have a problem. If that's the only thing that's standing in your way, we don't have a problem. We can get you started today. It doesn't cost us anything to go show this to people. Let's find the money along the way. That's a great thing to say to people. Or you could take it like this. I don't care about you joining. Like the money, that's something we can do later. Who cares? Let's handle that when we can. Why don't we go show this to some people that are on your list? And if they want to join, I'm sure that you'll be able to come up with the money then. See, everybody can come up with the money when someone else wants to. I've had people that said, I don't have the money to join. My spouse, I have to check with my spouse. And then we go show somebody the plan. We go show somebody else that's on their list, or a few people, and one of them wants to join. And magically, all of a sudden, they have the money. And either they no longer have a spouse, they got divorced in the last day, and just, or they don't care what their spouse thinks anymore because they have someone who wants to join under them. Bingo, the business works. We're ready to get going. You see, it's just a magic thing. So don't let the money objection be, if someone really is sticking to that, we'll find the money along the way. Who cares? Let's go get some people who want to join you. Or, hey, since you don't have a lot of money right now, let's go get 4 or 5 customers to get signed up with you so that you can make more money than it costs to get in. Wouldn't that be a good thing to do? Now you can get in for free. Doesn't cost you anything. So that's definitely something that, money objection, when it doesn't come up a lot, but when it does, you can handle it. We've made it very low cost for people to get in. We don't have monthly fees, so they don't have to worry about paying a monthly charge, and it's just once a year, so it's pretty affordable to most people. So hey, check with my spouse. That's an objection there. This is what I love to say. Take a screenshot of this one. This is great. I took this from somebody that this was from someone who was a marriage counselor and successful in network marketing. Okay, think about that. This person made millions of dollars in network marketing and was a marriage counselor. So I learned this. I stole this from a long time ago. I'll never forget it. Look, I don't know what the dynamic is in your relationship, and I don't want to cause any issues, but sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. And you just look at them with a smile on your face, nodding your head, and just be quiet. Let them react to that. I don't know what the dynamic is in your relationship, not trying to cause any problems or issues, but sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Wouldn't you agree? Like, be nice about it. Let me tell you what, you'll get a lot of laughs out of that one. And you'll get a lot of people that it hits them square in the eyes and they go, whoa, you're kind of right. And here's another one. If that doesn't work, like when you're talking about the spouse objection, you might have to go to level 2 handling of the spouse objection, which is this statement. Let me ask you this. See, I always like to ask people, whenever I ask them a question, I like to say their name and then let me ask you this. So I'll say, hey, Jim, let me ask you this. Hey, Sarah, let me ask you this. It's kind of like you're being really nice or being overly nice. You're asking permission before you ask permission to ask them questions. It's like double asking, really friendly. So, hey, Sarah, let me ask you this. Have you ever spent $129 without checking with your spouse first? I mean, think about that. I need to put a with in there. Have you ever spent $129 without checking with your spouse first? That's a great question. Sometimes that hits them right. You go, yeah, all the time. Why? Well, then why don't you do that here? And maybe you combine these, and maybe it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Have you ever done that when you're out buying clothing or buying someone said, yeah, I bought a car one time without even checking with my spouse. You bought a car, but you won't join a business that could change your life in the next 3 years and maybe make it so that you and your wife don't ever have to work again. You're going to check with your wife on that, but not on the car. Are you kidding me? I mean, think about that. So here's the last one I'm going to cover with you guys, and then we'll kind of open it up for questions. If there are any, feel free to put them in the chat. But hey, I know this is the time objection turnaround. When someone says, I don't have enough time, but they just spent 10 minutes with you, 15 minutes with you, 30 minutes with you, whatever it is, you're meeting with somebody for coffee, whatever it is. When someone says, I don't have enough time, I immediately in my mind, I say to myself, yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. So let's take a look at it this way. I know you have at least 15 or 30 minutes a week because you just spent 30 minutes with me. I know you have, and I say this to people all the time. I know you have at least 30 minutes a week because you just spent 30 minutes with me. So now that we know that, if we took 30 minutes next week and worked together for 30 minutes, showing this to other people, and we found someone that had 2 hours a week, like they want to spend 2 hours a week in this business through you, like you sponsor them. And we do that for 2 months, 30 minutes a week for 2 months. And each week we find somebody with 2 hours a week. You realize that after 2 months at 30 minutes a week, you and me working together, arm in arm, face to face, we meet people over the phone, whatever it is, Zoom, however we do it. We just turned 30 minutes a week into 16 hours a week in your business in just 2 months. Now you have 8 people joining your team that joined your team and each have 2 hours a week. You have 16 hours of work going into your business, but you only have 30 minutes. Now you're getting paid while you're busy doing other things. You guys realize this is what duplication is all about. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the perfect business for people who have no time. Wouldn't you agree? You guys take a screenshot of this because this is gold. I have used this for decades to build network marketing businesses. They have changed. This has changed my life with people. If you can turn a time objection into someone who says, you're right, I did have 30 minutes a week. What if we could do that? This is the perfect, and you end it with, so this is the perfect business for people who have no time. Wouldn't you agree? You guys, it's so simple to do it. The fear of failure, that's just one where you just have to encourage people. Look, I'm not going to talk you into anything, but I already know how to do this. And if you follow my lead, I won't let you fail. We can do this together. Are you with me? Become an encourager. The people who are the biggest leaders in this business are the best encouragers. That's what they do. They talk about the proven Think Plus system, the tools and teamwork, and they encourage people to let them know that you won't let them fail. I'm going to help you. I already know how to do this. My wife and I, Diana and I, we're going to be in Bangor, Maine tonight, Tuesday, June 6th, 7 p.m. at the Bangor Grand Hotel. If you know people there, invite them, get them over there. Come and meet us. We'll be there at 7 p.m. The meeting starts. We'll be there early at 6:30 for meet and greet. We have some upcoming events. Tuesday in Bangor, as we said. Thursday, we have events going on in Northumberland, PA, and Cincinnati. Friday, Dayton, Ohio. All meetings start at 7 p.m. Check that out at thinksuccess.plus. And then next week, if you're in the Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts area, Northampton, New Hampshire, my business partner, Brendan Kenny, will be there, hosted by Jesse Lohr. Definitely want to get there. This meeting is at an electric car build facility. Really cool. So you definitely want to get there. So that's it. I know I went over a little bit in time. If we have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm not sure how much people can hang around or whatever. I know we're in the middle of, how to win friends and influence people. That's what I was looking for, Steve. I appreciate that. All the books get wound up in my mind there. So please share the link of the 3-minute video. Yes, I will do that. I will put that in right now for the 3-minute video to everyone. So Mel, thanks for that. Let me make sure I'm getting that out to everyone in the meeting. Pretty easy. It's bit.ly/new think reviews. New think reviews. See, even the link tells you and tells your potential advisor or customer what it's all about. All right. So let's see. I appreciate that, Steve. I like Steve Condon's line for community solar. You can cancel anytime if you don't like saving money anymore. Great line. You can cancel anytime if you don't like saving money anymore. That's with community solar. I mean, unbelievable. Fantastic. Yes, and so, you have to be in business at least 6 months before you can get a rating from the BBB. Yeah, we've already been in business for that long, and so we're good. We launched on February 10th in most of the states, but technically we launched in Connecticut for customers only directly to the company in November. So we've actually been around long enough to do that. So potential EAs, that's a pyramid scheme. Look, the pyramid scheme excuse, that's one you can handle very easily. I like to, it's kind of like all of the information that we just gave them. So we are a licensed supplier for electricity and a licensed community solar provider in all of the states, okay, that we're operating in. We're talking 13 states. Okay, so the lawyers that go through and comb through, they won't let you, if there's even a hint of impropriety in your business, you will not get a license in the electricity market. It's one of the most highly regulated markets that exists. So if someone says it's a pyramid scheme, after you tell them that, they are being unreasonable and they are being ignorant, plain and simple. Because there is no way that a pyramid scheme will get licensed in a state for electricity. It's not going to happen. Now, that's something you can't say if you're in some product-based business that's not licensed and regulated by regulators in the state. We can. So we don't have the pyramid scheme issue for that exact reason. There's no reasonable person would ever say this is a pyramid scheme when it's a licensed utility company. We're a licensed supplier in the state. You can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. If you're a pyramid scheme, you're not getting a license. So plain and simple. That's the easiest way to handle that. Sometimes when somebody says it's a pyramid scheme, I say to them, I agree with them. I go, yeah, you're exactly right. It's a big fat pyramid scheme, and I'm the pharaoh sitting on top of the pyramid. Wouldn't you like to be one too? And just have fun with it. And then say, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. If it was, the regulators in the states and all their lawyers, they would have shut us down before. They never would have given us a license in the first place. So appreciate that, everybody. So, hey, it looks like we went through the questions on here. So I appreciate you sharing. And Steve and whoever else was on, who was it? Steve and Kevin, thanks for being here. And Mel, I'm going to add the pyramid scheme to the slides for the next overview because I just realized that I lost that. And so thanks, Kevin, for putting that one in there. Mike, thanks for being here. Hey, everybody, we'll see you out at all the events, and keep track of the events coming up as well. I'll put the last slide that's on the screen is our regular schedule throughout. So you can check out replays. We'll have this replay up at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thinkbiggest. Everybody have a great afternoon, a great week, and we will see all of you at the top, this time from Bangor, Maine. This is Tony Procopio logging out, over and out. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. See you soon.